I'm Marcus. I was 19 at the time, freshman year, and honestly I didn't even want to stay in a dorm, but my parents kind of pushed me into it. Said it'd be good for the experience and all that. So yeah, I ended up sharing a room with this guy Daniel. Didn't know him before move-in day or anything. At first he was, normal. Quiet, yeah, but not in a creepy way. Just one of those dudes who keeps to himself. Headphones on most of the time, does his work, doesn't really talk unless you talk to him first. But after like a week or two, I started noticing something about him that was, I don't know, just kind of off. He had this routine. And I don't mean like, yeah, he sleeps early. I mean like it was exact. Lights off at 11:30, not 11:28, not 11:35, always 11:30. Alarm at 7, not 6:59, not 7:05. And the weird part, he'd sit up the second it went off. Like instantly. No stretching, no checking his phone, nothing. Just straight up, like he was already awake waiting for it. At first I actually respected it, and I was like, damn, this dude got discipline. But after a while it stopped feeling normal. It felt kind of robotic. Like he wasn't deciding to do it like something else was. Anyway, one night I'm up late. Probably like 1:30 or something, just scrolling on my phone. Lights are off, room's dark except for my screen. Daniel's in bed. Or at least I thought he was asleep. Then I hear his bed make this small noise. Not like tossing or turning, more like pressure shifting. So I glance over, and he's sitting up. Just sitting there. On the edge of his bed, back straight, head slightly tilted down, facing the wall, not moving. At first I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe he woke up to go to the bathroom or something, so I go, "Yo, you good?" No answer. I wait a few seconds. Nothing. Now I'm thinking okay to eat. Maybe he didn't hear me, so I'd just go back to my phone. But something about it kept bugging me, so after like a minute, I look again. He hasn't moved. Same exact position, and I don't know why, but that's when I felt it. Like that small, uncomfortable feeling in your chest when something isn't right, but you can't explain it. So I turn on my phone flashlight, real quick, just for a second. And yeah, his eyes were open, just staring at the wall, no blinking, no reaction, nothing. I turned the light off immediately, like instinct. I didn't say anything after that. Just lay there pretending I didn't see it. Eventually I fell asleep. Next morning, 7 o'clock alarm goes off, same as always. He sits up instantly, normal. Like nothing happened. So I asked him, kinda casually, "Hey, you wake up last night?" And he just looks at me confused and goes, "No. Why?" I tell him he was sitting up for a while. He shakes his head. "Nah, man, I was out." Didn't seem like he was lying either. So I just drop it. But after that, it started happening more. Not every night, but enough that I started expecting it. I'd be up late, and at some point, I'd hear that same small shift from his bed. Look over. He'd be sitting there again. Same exact posture. Facing the wall. Not moving. And it wasn't like sleepwalking. It was too still. Like he was awake. But not really there. One night I actually timed it on my phone. He sat like that for almost 20 minutes. Didn't move once. Not even a little. That's when it really started getting to me. I didn't feel comfortable sleeping anymore, but at the same time I didn't know what to even say. Like, what do you tell someone? "Hey, you sit like a statue at night." So I just dealt with it. Then, one night, one changed. I woke up randomly, no reason. Just that feeling like something's wrong. Room was completely dark. And I could hear breathing. Not mine. Closer. Like, right next to me, I slowly turned my head toward his bed. Empty. He's not there. And the second I realize that, my chest just drops. Because now I know that breathing isn't coming from across the room. It's coming from right next to me, like beside my bed. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe properly. I just stayed there pretending I was asleep. Then I hear it. A voice, right next to me, low, quiet, but clear.
Are you awake?
I swear my whole body locked up. I didn't answer, couldn't even if I wanted to. Then again, a little closer this time.
Are you awake?
I shut my eyes tight and stayed still. Didn't react, didn't move. After a few seconds, the breathing stopped. Just like that, gone. I stayed like that for I don't even know how long. Eventually I must have passed out. Next morning, he's in his bed. Like normal. Alarm goes off. 7 o'clock. Same routine, same everything. I didn't say a word that morning. Didn't even look at him properly. Later that day, I went straight to the RA and asked for a room change. Didn't explain much. Just said I wasn't comfortable. They moved me a few days later. When I was packing my stuff, Daniel finally goes, "You moving out?" I said, "Yeah, just switching rooms." He nodded like it was nothing. Then right before I left, he said, "You should have answered." I froze. "What?" He looked confused. Like genuinely confused. "What do you mean?" I just shook my head. Nothing. And I left. I still don't know if he remembered that night, or if that was even him standing next to my bed.
Hello, Jenna here. This happened during my third year at a university in Illinois. Big campus, big classes, nothing unusual, and I wasn't exactly the most consistent student either. I skipped classes sometimes. Not proud of it, but yeah. So this one class, Intro Psych, had like over 100 students. You didn't really talk to the professor, didn't stand out, nothing like that. Attendance was through this app. You check in when you got to class, and that was it. Sometimes the professor would manually adjust it, but it wasn't super strict. Anyway, one Monday, I just didn't go, slept through it, didn't even try. Later that afternoon, I opened the app just to see if I got marked absent. It said present. And I remember actually smiling a little, like, okay, I'll take that. Figured maybe he just marked everyone present that day. Didn't think too much about it. A few days later, same thing. I skipped again. Checked later. Present. That's when it felt a little off, because this time I asked my friend Alex, he was in the same class, if he went. He goes, "No, I skipped too." I said, "What did yours say?" He checks and goes, "Absent." So yeah, not everyone got marked present, just me. I laughed it off, but it stuck in my head a bit, like, why only me? Anyway, next class I actually went. Sat in my usual spot, left side, middle rows, kind of near the aisle. Nothing weird at first. Halfway through the lecture, Alex leans over and goes, "Hey, did you come early today?" I'm like, "No, why?" He goes, "I swear I saw you already sitting here when I walked in." I laughed. "Dude, I just got here like 5 minutes before you." He frowned a little. "Nah, I'm serious. Same hoodie and everything." That gave me a weird feeling for a second, but I brushed it off. People look similar. Happens all the time. After class, as we're leaving, the professor stops me. "Jenna, quick question." I turn around. "Yeah?" He looks a little unsure, like he's trying to remember something. "Did you leave early on Monday?" And I'm like, "Wait, I wasn't here Monday." He pauses, looks at me for a second, then goes, "You were sitting right there." And he points directly at my seat. I felt that drop in my stomach. but I tried to keep it normal. No, I didn't come that day. He kind of nods slowly. Huh, must have been someone else. But the way he said it, it didn't sound like he believed that. That's when it started bothering me. Not in a horror way, just like something wasn't adding up. Later that day, I checked the app again. Monday, present, same as before. At that point, I started paying more attention. Next class. I got there early on purpose, like really early. Room was mostly empty. I sat in my usual seat and just waited. Nothing weird happened. People came in, lecture started, everything normal. After class, I checked attendance. Present once. Normal. So I thought, okay, maybe it was just some glitch before. Then a couple days later, I checked my past records again, just scrolling through. That's when I noticed something small. On the days I had been marked present when I didn't go, there were 2 entries, same date, same class, but slightly different timestamps. Like one was checked in normally and the other, I don't know, it looked like it was added separately. I showed Alex, he goes, okay, yeah, that's weird. But even then we were still trying to explain it. Like maybe system error. Maybe someone logged in twice or something. Then something happened that I can't really explain. Next class, I decided not to sit in my usual spot. Didn't tell anyone. Just walked in and sat in the back. Different row, different side. Class goes on like normal. Nothing strange. After class, I check the attendance again. And yeah, I'm marked present. But when I scroll down, there's another entry. Same date, same class, marked present again. But the timestamp on that second entry was earlier, before I even got to class. My stomach just dropped when I saw that, because I knew what that meant. Someone was still being marked present. In my old seat. I didn't tell anyone after that. Not the professor, not Alex, nobody. I just stopped going to that class, dropped it before finals, took the hit on my GPA, didn't care. A few weeks later, I ran into Alex again. We were just talking, and he goes, hey, you switched sections or something? I said, no, I dropped it. He looks confused. Then who's been sitting in your seat? That's when I felt it again. That same drop. I asked him, what do you mean? He goes, there's someone who sits there now. Doesn't talk to anyone. Just shows up, sits in your spot every time. I didn't say anything, just nodded like it was normal. But I knew I hadn't been back to that class, not once. And whatever he was seeing, it wasn't me.
My name's Aaron. I went to a community college just outside Pittsburgh. Nothing special. Pretty normal campus, mostly commuters, quiet most of the time. This happened last year during finals. I didn't have a good place to study at home, too noisy. So I started staying late on campus. The library was open until midnight, but what most people didn't really use was the basement level. It wasn't officially closed, but barely anyone went down there. That's why I liked it. First couple nights, completely normal. Quiet, empty, just rows of old shelves, a few study tables, and those buzzing fluorescent lights that never fully stop humming. I'd go down around 8 p.m., stay till like 11:30, then leave. No issues. But after like a week, I started noticing something small. There was this chair at one of the tables, kind of off to the side. Every night I came in, it was pulled out slightly. Not pushed in, not messy, just not fully in place. At first I didn't think anything of it. People use chairs, right? But here's the thing. Every time I left, I started pushing it back in, just out of habit. And every night I came back, it was pulled out again. Same angle, same position. After a few days, I actually tested it. Before leaving, I pushed it all the way in, like fully tucked under the table, and turned it slightly sideways. I remember thinking, okay, if it moves again, that's weird. Next night I come in, chairs pulled out again, facing straight this time. That's when it got my attention. I looked around the basement. Empty. No one there. I even checked between the shelves. Nothing. I told myself maybe cleaning staff moved it. That made sense. But then I started noticing something else. Around 10 p.m. every night I'd hear footsteps. Not close, like farther back in the basement. Slow, not constant. Just a few steps. Then silence. Then, maybe a minute later, a few more. I figured it was someone else studying, so I didn't think too much about it, but I never actually saw anyone. Not once. And I was down there for hours. One night, I got curious. I packed up early, around 9:45, and decided to walk through the aisles, just to see if anyone was actually there. I checked every row. Nothing. No bags, no books left out, no people. But as I was heading back to my table, I heard footsteps again, behind me. Clear this time. I turned around immediately. No one there. That's when I started feeling it. That weird, heavy feeling like something's off. I grabbed my stuff and left early that night. Told myself I was just overthinking. Next night, I still went back because I needed to study. Everything was normal again. Chair, pulled out, same spot. I didn't touch it this time. I just sat somewhere else. Around 10 p.m., the footsteps started again. Same pattern. A few steps. Pause. A few steps. But this time, it sounded closer. Like not deep in the basement, more like halfway between the shelves and where I was sitting. I stayed still. Didn't look around. Didn't want to make it a thing. Then I heard something I hadn't heard before. A chair moving. Not mine. From somewhere behind me. A slow scrape. Like someone pulling it out. I turned around. There were 3 tables behind me. One of the chairs was pulled out. I didn't see it move, but I knew it hadn't been like that before. That's when I decided I was done for the night. I packed up my stuff, trying not to rush too much. Didn't want to freak myself out more. As I was walking toward the stairs, I passed the table where that weird chair always was. I glanced at it. It was pushed in. Fully. Perfectly aligned. That stopped me. Because I hadn't touched it that night. I stood there for a second just staring at it. Then I heard footsteps again. Right behind me. Close. Like a few feet away. I didn't turn around. I just walked faster. Got to the stairs, went up, and didn't look back. After that, I stopped going to the basement. Started studying upstairs where other people were. A few days later, I mentioned it casually to one of the library staff. Just like, "Hey, is the basement usually empty at night?" She goes, "Yeah, pretty much. Why?" I told her about hearing footsteps. She paused for a second, then said, "Cleaning staff doesn't go down there that late." I asked, "Then who's down there?" She shrugged. "Probably just sounds carrying from upstairs." But she didn't sound convinced. I never went back down there again. What still gets me isn't the footsteps. It's the chair. Because I know I moved it multiple times, and something or someone kept putting it back.